So part 2 on the COVID replay and the lockdown 2.0 and those wild times for the so-called 1990, 2025 and such. That's going to be your 23 on the 9/11, and then your 24 on 9/11 is in 2025, and that's going to connect your Eve and your Christmas spirit. Okay? So now, this year, we're going to kind of get that Eve birth. That dark night, the one who goes and takes that knowledge and stuff. And then as that serpent is crawling all around, we're in that wood dragon year. Next year on the zodiac's that serpent year. So this one, that serpent's crawling all around and stuff. And the people are going to be cast down to the ground, cast down to the ground. The people of Babylon, they're going to leave heaven. The beasts are going to leave heaven. Because there's been a window into heaven opened up. And they're coming eye to eye with the face of God as the bridegroom comes face to face. As a ring is put on the finger. As a ring's put on the finger, they're going to realize that, hey, this guy's got me by the arm. This guy's got, he's changing. He's in the twinkling of an eye. We're going to be changed. You're already changed. And now you're about to get the old inserts. Certs versus Tic Tacs. We already saw the old Trump hold up the Tic Tacs, so now we got to get the certs, and the inserts are coming. For that fresh bread, the fresh bread is part of that Beto and the unleavened bread and all these other things that y'all don't want to talk about or whatever. Okay. And then another, the 10 days on the average typical COVID thing was 10 days. That's part of the begotten. You're part of that begotten sun, that light of the old that's going out. Okay? And then also we see on 3/11, it was referred to as the pandemic. On 3/12, it made its first appearance in the new Rocheleau. Oh, I'm sorry, the new Rochelle in New York. Okay? So, just little tidbits there for you to understand the old Roche limit coming before you. Wuhan, it's the 23U Jan. The Jan solo for the Trump and stuff, because what I see more than likely happening is the election is done this way, that way, that way, or this way or that way, and then between those 2 months, we see Kamala, Trump, or whatever, they're all taken out kind of thing. And this can be where we can see the stop on the rain for 2.5 years, and also Amazon, whatever can happen, where that can stop the rain. Of that sorts and such, and then because everybody's grown accustomed to that, but that's kind of like all these things are like the pinnacle of the old, but we're gonna take out that and then set up a new kind of thing. We'll see how the bait and switches go. Also, Steve Bezos connects us to Dr. Evil, but there's a seam in the thing to where, like, Tony Stark is good, Dr. Evil's bad, and then Elon Musk is portrayed as good. Elon Musk is like the bad Tony Stark, okay? But he'll be that cool of the night. We can either see the musket trigger for the Three Musketeers. I'll do another thing on the Three Musketeers to connect those things, because they took that down before in the past. But that's part of that triggered. And then Don Jr., the dark hair, that can be tied to the dark Trump also. And then Eric Trump is the Eric Ka. And the Ka is part of the Kamala and the Ivanka. And then the JD Vance and then the Ivanka. Those things are kind of all flip-flopping kind of here and there, okay? So we can see Jan Solo where the JD Vance can be left there alone in one way, shape, or form. And then that's part of that Lincoln time frame and that Civil War time frame. So we'll see how all these little things collide. All we really need to know, though, for a big picture is part 2, release, and part 3, wild times. Okay? And we need to know where the Wild West begins. And we need to know where those open arms are. And those types of things. Because we're all going back to what we're all told. What we're all shown is all for what is coming. And this is so it blinds you. So you never see it coming. So you're programmed to do what they want. So you are the extras. And when they call action, the AC shun, Antichrist shun, you will take your script that you've read either in your Bible, the scripture, or the Quran, or the Torah, or whatever, and you will go to your roles, and you will take your role on that crapture table. Okay? And more than likely, you've already hit those snake eyes with that double hijab. All right? Or is that hijab? We'll find out soon enough. So the Wu-Jan, that was on November 17th, 2019. The 20 and the 9, the TN, the teen. Okay, so that ties into the live golf game. And we can see the November 17th, 2019, that connects us to that November time frame for the part 2. And then let me get my computer up here. Hold on. And then just to change things here, okay? Biff Howard Tannen, Biff Tan 9, Biff Tan N, Biff Tan End. This guy is based on Trump, according to the writers, producers, and Back to the Future, the BTTF, the double T, and the best friends, the best fry-ins. That's connecting us to the friends stuff that we've been tracking for the ketamine and the ketamine and all those things. And the ketamine connects, well, that's a whole other thing. We'll do another video on the keys and such. But we mentioned the Irish twins and George, an Irish bug. Biff often took pleasure in calling George an Irish bug. All right. And then the bull, Lion. The yen is for the China, and the lie is for the lion Kamala that Trump called her, and the bull is, well, for your nation and your New York Stock Exchange and stuff. And then Tom's the money, the Will son, the 23 ill, and then the 47 son, and the S is the AI, and the 19 and the on, and then our sun is the on, and then so that's when the money and the 23 on 9/11 and all those things are going to come into fruits to take out your dollar bill and to bring in your pandemic and all that other stuff. Okay, so we see the BRICS setting up now. And the BRICS has their, last I read, was 159 countries, which is tying into the, I'm having a brain fart. It's the 49 and the 69. 69 is the donkey number, 49 is the 36, and the 666. And then it's also the 5, which is the 5225. Anyways, I had something with the 159. Well, 1985, you take out the 8, and that's for the Last Supper, and then you're left with the 195. And that's the mix-up on the 159. Either way, folks, the bricks, all right, it has what it needs. And as these things take place, we can see that's where the heartland of oil and all those things, Houston and such, that pipeline, that black gold, Texas tea. Well, Jed, move away from there. Next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Okay? But the black gold, that all dries up and whatever, okay? All becomes tarnished. As that fine china and the silver becomes tarnished, the collapse begins. And that's where you see the digital dollar having to come out. So you can see that digital ID or the COVID ID coming out, one or the two. And then they could actually do a flip and reverse where you need the COVID ID, but then it starts turning into where COVID shots or whatever are a negative. And as they're a negative, but you got to have the ID. So that's where you get like a flip-flop, weird, delusional scenario kind of thing going on. But either way, it doesn't matter. The voting ID or the COVID ID, both of those are more than likely coming. And both of those will be a different marker on for the 666 here for the people to bow out. Okay? Now, the only people who don't want the COVID ID would be the ones who got the damn shot. Okay? All right? So, but they may make it to where it seems like a positive thing at first, but then the next month after, you're like, shit, now we got everybody signed up for this, and then the next month you're like, well, F, or a couple months or whatever. It may take a couple months or whatever, but it's a fast forward and a rewind and shit, and as these things are overlaying or whatever, they're not going to have much time to do whatever. So that's where you have the part two playing out, and then part 3 overlapping it. So that's where you see part 2 lasting 3.5 years, and then part 3 lasting 3.5 years on top of that. So from part 2, it would be 4.5 years. Okay? So, and then with that middle time frame, you're actually looking at a little bit longer per se, because you have to have the feed in and the feed out or whatever. That's kind of like what we're seeing now. But this is where we can see the part 2, part 3 play out, where we see the succession here or whatever for that second coming. And then as these happen, the divide is over the next 4 years, and the UN comes in and everything's transformed and all those kinds of things. And then then from that time frame, the 48, from the 1948 to the 48, then that's where you'd finally get to that 80-year period for the 80-year generation time frame that we're told about or whatever to be looking for. But so this is where he's gathering all these people marked in the right. If they even make it out alive and they're marked or whatever, they're going to follow their script or whatever that they've been given by their Bible, Torah, or Quran or whatever, and go down for eternity and whatever. Okay, but and then eventually the aliens and AI and all these things will just crush their religions. Okay, because it's all bullshit. Okay, and it's not that this foundation of light is bullshit. It's that it's a two-edged sword, and the light has been changed on you and transformed on you. And as it's been transformed on you, the transformation is coming, and you're going to follow the wrong person in the wrong dress and things like that. Okay, you're going to follow the dude in the long robe instead of following the woman in the dress and that kind of thing. Okay, so Lady Liberty, the woman, these types of things, the church that hates women, the religions hate women, all these things, the women are there to bring judgment or whatever. They will never follow a woman. So there's many facets going here, and it's so easy because it's been seared for decades. And the only way you can do it is to know you're programmed and to break the programming. And that's what I'm here for. Okay? So That's the channel.